Oh yeah, hello! Hello everyone! Welcome to Jawbone! We're talking about Baldur's Gate 3 today. I'm Amber Carr, voice Felicity here. I'm here with composer extraordinaire Seth Boyer.
I know, the elusive, the rarely on mic.
Glad to have, rarely on mic. We're glad to have you here.
I'm
really
just
excited.
I'm so offline these days. Like I don't know. It's been nice back here, tinkering with twisting my little knobs, playing with my little spaghetti patch cables and stuff. And then
your web of synthesizers.
Yeah, I'm like drowning in them right now.
That's so cool. I'm jealous. I wish I was not online and instead was in front of a synthesizer with a bunch of knobs.
Yeah,
that's for another day.
We'd be down a cast member. We'd be kind of boned.
Exactly. But yeah, Baldur's Gate 3, I put a embarrassing amount of hours into this. So I'm excited to talk about it.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I don't know. I don't have I'm on my Mac recording right now, so I don't have my Steam hours played, but it's in the triple digits.
Yeah.
And I only did one complete playthrough.
Oh yeah, and I've done 2 going on 3. Oh god. But it's good. I really enjoy it. I guess just to open up, what did you play?
So we should let's take it back even further. I'm curious what your history with the Baldur's Gate franchise and I guess D&D more broadly is, or I guess CRPGs.
I know loosely of Baldur's Gate 2. It was a little too. I bought it when I was younger, and I was not able to figure it out because it's difficult to learn how to play 2E and a CRPG simultaneously for the first time. So I didn't play a lot of the originals, but I did play Into the Ground Dragon Age Origins, which was on launch pitched as sort of a spiritual successor to the Baldur's Gate series because it was BioWare who did the original Baldur's Gates. But what about you?
I think Dragon Age Origins might have been the first CRPG that I played.
Yeah, that was mine for sure.
Because I was a Mac kid growing up because my parents were both teachers, so we had access to surplus Mac hardware, which is the only way we could afford to have a computer on 2 teachers' salaries in our house. So really I missed so much of early PC gaming, and that really that totally included CRPGs. I did just completely missed it, and then didn't really have a way to play D&D. There weren't D&D kids at my school. In retrospect, it's weird how a lot of people I know who are in the space were oh yeah, I used to play in the D&D club in high school, and I was man, I didn't even have any of that where I went to school. I don't think I knew a tabletop person until I got to college. Wow, college.
Yeah, I was a late bloomer.
Huh.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, yeah. It definitely took me a hot minute to get on board. But then I really liked Dragon Age Origins. I was a little more lukewarm on Dragon Age 2, and then I didn't get super into Inquisition. Mm-hmm. But Disco Elysium got me really hard back into this is the type of interesting super text and dialogue heavy hyper emergent gameplay kind of systems stuff that I like this. And then I ended up going back, and before Baldur's Gate 3 came out, I played Divinity 2 and got pretty far, sunk a good amount of time into it, and was this is really fun. This is a cool way to play D&D where I don't have to deal with scheduling.
Yeah. I just started Divinity. I'm just started it, so I don't have anything to say about it yet, but I got Divinity Original Sin 2 as well after beating Baldur's Gate 3 into the ground so thoroughly. I was I should, I should probably pick up the other game that they made that got them here.
So tell me about your character.
Okay, so I did it. My first one, I did it on stream, and it was just a tiefling draconic lineage sorcerer. But I didn't really know what I was doing, so I basically just played it like an evocation wizard, just throwing fireballs and stuff. And then when I actually was all right, I know how this game works, I'm going to start over. I did a Bard of Swords, which I really liked, which is somewhere between a rogue and a fighter. That ended up being a level 5 bard, or level 7 bard, level 5 rogue. Get 4 attacks around or whatever. And then I was finally all right, now I'm going to break the game because I've beaten it once already. I'll have to feel bad about that. And so I made my last character, Scrungo, who was the Tavern Brawler monk. Are you familiar with the Tavern Brawler monk build?
I am not.
Well, there's the way the Tavern Brawler works just in BG3. It doesn't work this way in 5e for our reasons that will become obvious very quickly. Is you Tavern Brawler causes your strength modifier to be applied twice to all of your unarmed attacks.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah. And so what I do is in the beginning, I go to Auntie Ethel, who's got all the Hill Giant potions, and I just keep buying them every time I rest until I have like 20 of them. Then I respec and dump all of my strength down to 8 and drink a potion every single morning to bring me up to 21 strength. and then I double hit off the modifier for that with all my unarmed attacks.
That sounds insanely broken in the best way.
It's really, it's very like, well, this is probably not in the spirit of I wouldn't do this in a real campaign if it was even an option, like with other players. But that's what's so nice about the game is that I can do something really gross like that, and it's fine. What did you play?
I in true dilettante fashion, I don't even remember what I think I started as I rolled a paladin of some sort, and was messing around the character creator. And at first I was like, oh, I'm going to be like a half orc, or I'm going to go be something cool or interesting. And then I looked at some of the options they had for like just more humanoid. Like I think I ended up being like a kind of buff half elf.
Yeah.
And the reason I ended up doing it is because it's the first game ever that I've ever seen that had a vitiligo slider. And I as someone with vitiligo, I was like, I'm sorry, this is the most specific representation ever, and I'm fucking down. So I was able to I just did the power fantasy thing of, okay, here's buff, or more buff, half elf me. With a significantly lower body fat percentage and a better hairline, but like the skin is on point.
Yeah.
And yeah, started like doing like paladin kind of stuff, and it was cool being able to be able to off heal a little bit and be able to do some buffs. But ultimately, I was too enamored with my goth Catholic girlfriend, who I swear I can fix her.
She's a very popular one for good reason.
Yeah,
I get it.
Yeah. We'll get there.
Yeah.
But anyway, like she just like kind of naturally fit into that kind of healing battle cleric role too well. So I ended up respecking into just straight bard. Because it's too good. It's too versatile. I could pick every lock. I was like passing way too many checks for just like quality of life things of just like, no, I'm going to notice when there's a thing that I'm supposed to find.
Yeah, exactly.
Or a thing that it is beneficial for me to find. And then on top of that, having some cool, interesting spells. And like... towards the end, I definitely got it's. I wouldn't call myself overpowered because in combat it was certainly there were certainly some encounters that I was not smart enough for. And I love that there were some, particularly in Act 3, where things could go just wrong enough that you're like, it almost dares you to save scum. It's like, hey, this was a partial success. Are you gonna live with that and be a human being, or and I'm like, fuck, okay, yeah, no, all right, fine, I'll live with it, even though this guy died, and I could have saved him, but I didn't. But I saved a bunch of other people. That's where I think the game really, or it's one of the places that the game really succeeded. Was getting even my fickle ass who's respecking multiple times. It got me to commit to some things happening in universe for my character in a way that that to me is the mark of good writing in something like this, where you do have multiple outcomes, where you do have kind of that squidginess around player agency.
Yeah, I agree. Absolutely. Man, some stuff can go really, really bad, especially in the third act.
Yeah,
where I have somewhere of oh man, that wasn't what I wanted to happen at all. That wasn't even close to what I wanted to happen. Oh well, I guess I have to move onward. But I definitely did more save scumming. As my runs go on, I do less of it. but I definitely did more of it at first because I was like, wow, this is terrifying. This game is scaring me.
Oh, I 100% like in that the like goblin camp in the first act. I had probably like I don't know 25 like quick saves or whatever where I would just like walk 10 feet, be like, oh my god, I'm fucked. Oh my god, I'm fucked.
Yeah.
You know, like just like out of fear. But yeah, it decreased as the game went on. Also, at a certain point, I was 80 plus 90 hours in or whatever, and I'm like, okay, I would really like to see like end credits. I want to see what's going on like in this game. Do we want to like start like broadly about like any like big interesting things that happened in like Act 1 and then just kind of go like
I'm not
from
opposed.
there?
I'm not necessarily opposed to that.
Yeah, without like fully recounting the entire story because I feel like that would be unnecessary and B kind of difficult because of how much it can diverge like per playthrough.
Well, I guess going off of that, start as early as I can. Did you steal the sword from the devil on the Nautiloid? I didn't do this first playthrough, but I do it every time now.
I do. No.
The devil that is fighting the Mind Flayer, and the Mind Flayer's like, you gotta go.
You can steal.
You use command on a cleric to make him drop his sword, and you take it, and it's like a great sword with 1d6 fire. That's better than like everything else in the first chapter.
That's amazing.
Yeah, like
that's the kind of shit that I just didn't think about my first playthrough because I was thinking with like video game logic, like Dragon Age Origins logic, not like closer to D&D logic of like or truly like that kind of Divinity or Baldur's Gate logic of no like just put some barrels in some places, it
like, really does dare you to break it a little bit in a way that I really enjoy. It really is like, no, you can do that. You want to do that? Well, like I can't. There's been a bunch of times where I've been like, oh, you're gonna let me just okay, all right. Like
I cannot imagine what working on this game must have been like from a like, all right, like did they have, and obviously they're progressively building on some of the systems and like systems designs from like the Divinity games, which already have an insane amount of like flexibility. But yeah, they really dare you to break the game in some ways where it's just like they had to account for that and they had to have systems in place to account for some of these things. And oh my God, there's so much. There's so much.
Yeah, it's especially Act 1 where it's like, people always be like, oh, Act 3 isn't like, it's not as like polished. It's like, okay, no, Act 3 is like a normal video game. Act 1 is like a bizarre feat of nature that I don't understand how it was created by human beings. Like the way that everything intertwines with it, like everything else is incredible. The amount of moving parts that Act 1 has is just unbelievable.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I did not steal the sword. I did almost, or actually my first and most prominent save scum is I accidentally poor dialogued myself into killing Frog Lady when she's trapped in that cage.
Oh no, Lizelle!
And then a friend of mine was like, "Hey, don't
don't
you want her in your party?" And I was like, "Do I though?"
She's like rude. She's so like unpleasant.
Yeah,
that it really makes you want to not really mess with her. Because I did the same thing. I played it like I didn't beat it the first time. I played it on stream for a while. And I did the same thing where I was like, I don't want this. Like, get her out of here. Everyone's like, you're going to want her. I was like, I don't know about that. And then I used her. I was like, ooh, she's like really, really good, huh?
Yeah.
Fighters are really
good.
Not
just in combat. Like, her dialogue options with other people are so, like, entertaining.
Yeah.
Particularly Shadowheart. Like, those two just, like, jawing at each other all the time.
Yeah.
Fucking great. Fucking great.
They're great together. I agree. I really liked the both of them together. Yeah, who did you use for the most part in your party, by the way?
I really I balanced it pretty evenly. I did mess up who's the druid that you can pick up in the first act?
Halson?
Yeah, I like he showed up in my camp, but he never became a party member. I don't remember what I did or what I didn't do in time or whatever.
Got you. Yeah, you have to like do some stuff in the beginning of Act 2 or something like that.
Yeah, and so he just ends up leaving after a while. And I'm just like, okay,
oh, did you not fix the Shadow Curse lands?
You can fix them?
Yeah, you sure can.
Shit, I guess not.
Yeah. The second time I played through, I remember I was finishing up like the Cryptbreak Thorn fight. I was like, I feel like there's something I forgot. And we're leaving the Shadow Curse lands, and Halsin's like, you didn't fucking do anything at all here. You didn't fix anything. And I was like, oh, that was the thing.
Ooh.
That was the thing I forgot.
Oops.
Yeah, exactly.
I gotta go to Baldy Gate though. I have an appointment at the gate, so I gotta go to Act 3. Sorry, dude. Like,
exactly. Yeah. So
shit.
I had a similar thing to that happen, but I think my first playthrough I used Lizelle and Shadowheart, like you said, because I like their dialogue with each other so much. And I used Astarion because he's just his voice actor is just so fucking delightful.
Oh, so good.
He's so good.
Yeah, for the most part, I was rocking Astarion, Shadowheart, and Lizelle. But I would shuffle in the other two. You know, I'd have my goth wife with me, but like would shuffle in the other two or the other two character slots pretty frequently, like to the point where I like. At some point was like a little it became kind of cumbersome because it'd be like, oh cool, I want to like swap these guys out, and then I'm just like, okay, well now I need to go through their inventory and I need to like optimize their gear, and I need to and remember what their spells are, and then I would inevitably fuck up and be like, oh well, what if we went back to Astarion or
exactly.
And then at a certain point in Act 3 I did not have access to one of those characters anymore. Which we'll definitely get to. But yeah, like Act 1, like missed that. Didn't end up doing the super evil shit in the Goblin camp to get the other, like the evil lady into my party. So it was mainly rocking the main crew.
I tried to do that, and so I had this glitch that I don't know exactly what happened, but I went to do the Goblin invasion, and I presume goblins are supposed to show up when the fight happens, you would think. What happened for me was a bunch of goblins appeared on like the battle bar that shows you the turn order that were on my side, obviously, because I'm helping attack the grove. And I'm like, where are these guys? And I click on it, and it takes like a little too long to load. I was like, that's not a good sign. It takes me to a like 1 millimeter thick floating platform 100 miles in the air above the area that I can only presume is like a loading zone, and they're all up there. And I could not. They're acting, but they can't figure out where to go because they're 100 miles in the air.
Oh no!
And so eventually, I had to just like go back and knock Minthara out, because every time I tried to do her mission, like I reloaded it like 3 times, and like earlier and earlier, every time I do it, the goblins would be on the square. So,
damn.
Yeah. So I've never actually attacked the grove, even though I've played through multiple times, just because the time I tried to do it, it broke so catastrophically that I was like, all right, well, I won't do that one. But I did it, so I've saved the grove many times, but now what I do, I knock Minthara unconscious, because then you can get her in Act 2 anyway.
Oh.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
That said, I would say of all of the runs I've done except for one, I've accidentally killed her despite knowing that. So your mileage may vary.
Yeah, I still really badly want to find time for a second playthrough, and I kind of want to go Dark Urge or do something like very, very different.
I really liked doing Dirge. I really like it.
Yeah.
You feel like you're more integrated into the world in Dark Urge. You have like a backstory that matters a lot, and like, you have your own character arc, and
right.
It feels more like there's things that happened in the Dark Urge run that I understand why they didn't make it the default, but I do think that it is the one that feels the most like you are part of the world. And if you do that, I recommend keeping Minthara alive if you can, because she's fun. There's a lot of fun dialogue between her and Gale.
Ooh.
There's like one where she's like, Gale, do you have any siblings? And he's like, why do I get the feeling you're going to say something awful to me? She goes, where I'm from, they kill the third-born boy because there's no need for them. You have the air of a third-born child around you. It's like, it's great. She's so awful.
Speaking of awful, Gale.
Yeah.
I love his characterization, like but I mean, voice acting like and performances across the board are phenomenal in this game.
Yes.
But truly, like there are some characters like Astarion is just like, okay, I can see how that would just be a really fun role for an actor of a certain like caliber to like sink their teeth into.
Yeah.
But Gale is so unique in the way that he's a fucking slimy shitbird.
Yes.
Like, he sucks so bad in a way that makes you want to keep him around just to dunk on him.
Yeah.
Like, not in a way that's like, I feel like it's pretty easy to write a character like, this guy sucks. Mm-hmm. It's a lot harder to write a character that this guy sucks in such a specific way. And God damn it. Yeah. Okay, fine. Your like ice spell is really useful. Like, you're going to stay in my party. I'm going to make fun of you constantly.
I like, he's got a real, like, if I was at Chernobyl, I would have stopped it approach to everything. Like, he doesn't think that anything bad could really happen to him, despite something awful having already happened to him.
Gale, rip to your grandma, but I'm different.
Yeah, it's like straight up. It's like when you get offered to use the parasites, like for power.
Yeah.
2 people think it's a good idea. Astarion is like, well, I'm evil, so it's fine to me. And then you go to Gale, and Gale's like, I think I could go into the basement of Chernobyl and be fine. I think, it's like I could open the demon core, nothing bad would happen to me. It's just like he doesn't even register that something awful could happen to him.
He's read one non-wizarding book, and it's The Secret.
Exactly. And I love how, like, as you go through the run with him, you realize more and more it's like, oh, you're like kind of evil, actually.
Yeah, in an arrogant and somehow clueless kind of way.
Yeah,
like in a real born on third base kind of way.
Yeah,
like, versus like Astarion's this kind of your typical like scene chewing like like evil bisexual, which like critical support.
Yeah, of course.
But yeah, it's so fun. Like the whole main cast, I think is really, really, really well developed, with some like possible kind of mid exceptions. Like Will, I was hoping would be a little bit more interesting.
Yeah, I used him last round. I was not. It's like it sucks because I think he's got a cool design. Like the first time I saw it, I was like, ooh, this guy's really cool looking.
Yeah.
But he's just like, yeah, man, he's like an old school. Very, very old school fantasy protagonist type character, and it just like doesn't give the voice actor or the writers a lot to chew on as far as making him interesting.
I will say his character facilitates some much more interesting stuff. Like I can't remember the name of the demon that he has the pact with.
Oh, Zariel, or not Zariel, Mizora.
Mizora. She's great. Like,
oh yeah,
she's
she
just
is.
Fucking delightful.
Yeah,
and like him being in your party, and then like eventually she shows up like in your camp or in my camp in season 3 or act 3. And of course had to fuck the demon.
I got when I got that offer. I was like, wow, really? This is an option? Okay.
Will was pissed, and I don't care.
Will was like, why would you do that? And I was like,
yeah,
man.
I was like, I'm sorry, do you have eyes?
Yeah, like, I because it seems like you got a real good thing going that you don't care for.
Well, and I do love that, like, Shadowheart was like, yeah, no, I get it. I would.
Yeah,
and
that's
I'm like,
what,
yeah, okay, cool, yeah.
That's what Astarion does also. Astarion is like, wow, so what was that like, actually? Like, tell me about that.
Fireheart, oh god, name. I'm struggling with names as ever. It also has been a hot minute since I finished the game. Karlach, super fun.
Oh yeah,
I love you. She's a bud. Like,
yeah,
just
she
a
is.
homie, a homie and a half.
She's great.
So much fun to hang out with. I'm sure we'll wrap back around to the ending. But for me, I fucked up a dialogue option and did not save scum. And at the very end of after the final boss encounter, hanging out on those docks or whatever, Karlach starts to get taken by hell or whatever.
Yeah.
And we were just homies in the game or whatever, but the dialogue option I ended up going with, unbeknownst to me, this was not my intention, but it ended up being really cool.
Yeah.
Was me turning to Shadowheart and the rest of the party and being like, I'm sorry, I gotta help my homie with something. be right back, going to hell. And then it's me and Karlak just like fucking ride or die time, just like starting to battle a bunch of shit in hell. And then cut to the epilogue or whatever, where we're all hanging out at camp again and doing the like, you know, where y'all been for a year kind of.
Yeah.
What'd you do with your summer vacation? You know, kind of shit.
Oh, that's cool.
So I don't know. It ended up working out. So
yeah, I ended up making her in Act 3 when he's like, oh, somebody's got to be a mind flayer. If you get to the end of her quest, at least for mine, she volunteered to do it, and so I had her do that, and it stops her. Stops her infernal engine, and she lives because of it.
Huh.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So that was how her ending resolved in mine, was that she was a mind flayer, but she was like not controlled by an elder brain, so she kind of just like lived the rest of her life, a generally private life in Baldur's Gate. I was like pretty satisfied with how it ended.
That's sick.
Yeah.
That's great.
It's funny when she transforms, because she's so much smaller as a mind flayer, because she's so jacked normally.
Yeah. Like 6'4".
Yeah,
like,
exactly. He's like 6'4", all muscle.
I see. I mean, is there any other like Act 1 stuff that like really pops out?
Yeah, I'm thinking, I'm rolling it around in my noggin right now.
Yeah, a lot of it was me just coming to terms with like systems and stuff, and then like going underground and that being like terrifying.
Oh yeah, the Underdark.
Truly fucking spooky in the Underdark.
Yeah, I remember like I got to the Underdark through the place under the Goblin Camp, and I saw like the locked door, and I was like, I'm not going to go that way. That seems bad. I'll go through this window. I'm outsmarting the game, and this will be fine. And then you're just a fucking spectator, the like baby beholder. It's like right there as soon as you leave through the window. I was like, this is so much worse than what I was doing. This was so much worse for me.
I love nothing quite so much as a game master, or a game in this case, but like functionally the systems being the de facto GM, being like, oh, you think you're fucking smart? You think you're fucking clever?
Yeah.
Eat shit.
Exactly.
It's so satisfying as a player, because you're just like, oh no, yeah, okay, that was a, you know, you're doing this heat check moment and you just absolutely break it, and it's great.
Oh yeah. Act 1, the thing I thought of. Did Gale ever die for you before he tells you about the bomb in his chest?
No.
There's a special thing that only happens if Gale is killed before that happens, where a like spectral form of Gale appears. Like kind of like the one Leroican has at the Sorcerer's Sundries. That's like, hello, if you're hearing this message, it means I've expired prematurely. Now, me being alive, it's like my being alive will determine the fate of a lot of people. So it is essential you bring me back within 2 days. Here's how. And he's like, he has directions on how to make a scroll of resurrection, but they're like really long. And it's like, you need you to take the pouch out of my pocket and unwound it by the purple string in a counterclockwise fashion. Remove the paper and the flute. Use the flute to play the notes in the four corners of the paper in a clockwise order. When this happens, a Mephit will appear. This is his name. Say this name. He will ask you a question, and it's like some phrase in Infernal. You say, and it's like some other phrase in Infernal, and you finish all that. He's like, "Okay, now say it back to me." It's like, I was like, "No way, the game's not actually going to make me do this all."
Oh my god!
It does. It actually does.
The only reason I'm upset there won't be DLC for this game is that they won't give us lockers with which to shove Gale's ass into. Like, indoor plumbing has not yet been invented, and so we cannot swirly Gale in the Baldur's Gate universe. It's fucked up.
Oh god. Yeah,
mods, please.
We need to bring back bullying for him. Oh god. But that was like one of my favorite parts of Act 1 is if you're hearing this, I've died prematurely message, and then the like extremely long overwrought description of how to make this scroll.
That's hysterical. Oh my god. There's so many little things in this game that like that, you know, that are, this is an edge case. Like,
yeah.
A tiny fraction of players are going to even trigger this sequence of events that we have created a custom, well thought out, interestingly or funnily written not frequently not just dialogue, but like voiced dialogue with blocking and like or a fun little cutscene. It's just like, damn. I hope y'all are on vacation still.
Yeah.
Like,
I hope
you got a year off.
They could have just put that scroll in his pocket. They didn't need to do all of that, but I'm glad
Could've
they
been
did.
A Skyrim book.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, if the scroll was just in his pocket, I would have been like, that seems reasonable.
Yeah.
But what actually they did is just so much more fun than that. It's just so good. Oh, I also, in Act 1, did you let Volo operate on your parasite?
I was not brave enough, no.
I only did it because it was recommended to me by a viewer I trust on my stream. I actually think they might be patron here, Sarah's Hawk. And they were like, yeah, you're going to want to let him do this. And like every step of the way, I'm like, this looks... I gotta stop. They're like, nope, you gotta do it all the way.
Nope.
And eventually, if you do it all the way through, he accidentally knocks out your eyeball, and gives you like a fake magic eye, and then runs away, not to be seen again until the third act. But
my god, he just disappears for the whole act?
And the magic eye he gives you permanent see invisible. So it's like
That's
really good.
Hysterical. Yeah. God. What a good game.
It's like one of the best passives you can get in the game. You have to do it by doing like the most obvious bad thing to do that gives you like 6 chances to back out of it.
They do, because I went like pretty far down that line. Like I was laying on a table with him up over me, and other characters were like, "Wait, are you sure about this, dog?" And like the third time, I was like, no, this is probably a bad idea."
Yeah, and around
the jester do surgery on my face.
Around like the fourth time, he switches from using the needle to using an ice pick. And it's like, oh, there's another chance to back. And so it's like every single thing you see about it is like, I should probably not do this, but it's actually better to do it.
Perfect.
Oh, it was
no
so
notes.
good. It was so good.
Oh.
Anything else Act 1 you can think of, or you want to roll into Act 2?
I can't. I think we got to roll into Act 2.
That works for me.
Where the first really memorable thing for me is the very cool tavern fight with the fucking angel show.
Oh, the flaming fist that like has been like become like this dark angel.
Whew,
yeah.
Sick as hell. Like just real fucking cool.
Yeah.
And later on, like end up having the cool like lesbian angels like hang out. In my party and help me in the final encounter, and they whip ass.
Yeah, they're really good.
It was great.
Yeah, both Isabel and Ayla, they're both really good. Both have like 2 really good things they give you at the end, so it's really worth saving them.
Yeah.
I really liked the Shadow Curse lands a lot, and I thought it was really smart to set an act there, because there's so many spells in D&D that just make light. And like that's all they do. There's light, there's dancing light, there's day. Like there's a ton of spells in D&D that mostly just make light. And so they made a place where it's like mechanically relevant and powerful to make light. And I thought that was like a really smart way to like, if you're working backwards from 5e, which is a system that already exists and it has all these spells that care about light, to like create a area in your game where light is like of such a high level of importance.
Yeah. No, it's really slick. It created plenty of tension. Rolling into that second act, especially after like going through like the Underdark and stuff. Like when I like kind of felt a little bit more comfortable in that zone, and I was like, oh yeah, this is fine. I got this. Let's go Act 2, Act 2, baby. And then it was just like, oh no, this is also pretty. This is pretty tough. And created like a palpable sense of tension, at least until you get one of those lanterns.
That helps quite a bit.
I am curious what you did with the fairy and the lantern.
So the first time I turned the knob on the bottom too much and I killed her. I didn't realize that would happen. That's what happened. I thought it would make the light bigger. I did it like 2 times, I think. And then I looked and it was like, I feel like I'm not getting any light out of this anymore. And I looked at it and she was dead in there.
Oh, shit.
That made things a lot more complicated for me.
Yeah.
I had to be very careful about the Shadow Curse. As a result, later, like the run after that, I kept her in it for like a really long time. And the longer you keep her in it before you free her or she dies, the more frequent her dialogue thing gets.
Yeah.
Because they really want you to like, no, you should let her out because she gives you the buff that makes this part easier. And they're trying to tell you that, but I was just like, why is this? Is there like I thought it was like a glitch or something. I was like, why? This is like happening every 2 minutes now. What is? Finally, I couldn't stand it anymore. And I was like, all right, I'll let you out. And I let her out. And then she was like, oh, here's your thing, so you don't have to deal with the curse. I was like, oh man, I'm like almost done. I probably should have checked this sooner.
What if you didn't imprison small fey animals?
Yeah, exactly. What did you do?
I did kind of the same thing where I had her in there for a little longer than my character, a little longer than my other party members, or some of them anyway, were like pleased with me for doing.
Yeah.
And obviously Lizelle was like, yeah, no, absolutely, we need the we need the light. Are you fucking kidding me? We need the light. This bug, I don't know.
Yeah, where Shadowheart's like, no, we'll just let her out. It's like, it's fine because my shitty god that makes everything suck loves me, and so nothing bad will happen to us. It's like, I don't think that's true.
Yeah. Which dovetails nicely into one of the cooler dungeons, I think, in the game. And like, obviously, I'm biased because my Catholic wife.
Yeah.
But holy shit. Like fucking incredible like character moments, like just peppered in through that whole dungeon, like culminating in this really, really like gripping scene where I was able to roll convincingly enough to tell her to like, hey, no, don't stab this lady with this spear. Like that's kind of fucked. That's kind of fucked. Like, look into your heart. That's a little fucked. And like then she goes full like crisis of faith mode, and it was just like it was very like earnest and like human in a way that like I really wasn't expecting from like that character. And like I joke about like Catholicism, but it really hit those notes in a kind of a like an effective way for me. And it was nice. I was able to apply some salvation for my wife. But what about you?
Oh, I love that. That's so sweet. I liked the gauntlet a lot. I thought it was really cool. That was probably the first place that I went where I encountered a guy and did like the House of Decline. Like, I think we got to kill this guy, Astarion. Like, I think we got to kill this. It was Balthazar, the necromancer. You come in he's like got like a pentagram carved into his face.
I killed that guy instantly.
I saw
just like, nope, this guy's too evil.
I was like, no way. There's no way. The first time I didn't, and you have to fight him right there where like Shadowheart has that whole crisis of faith.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and so you have to fight him and like a bunch of skeletons, and he's like dropping cloud kills, and they're all trying to push you off into the void.
Oof.
Yeah, it's really rough. But luckily I did have Lizelle, so you could solve a lot of problems, it turns out, when you're fighting a powerful caster by just putting your like level 10 fighter next to them. That very quickly solves them. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I was like,
that does help.
Lizelle will take her like 19 attacks that she gets every turn. She can't talk to anybody without making them the maddest they've ever been, but boy, can she swing a sword a lot in one turn.
Yeah, good thing Action Surge exists.
Yeah, exactly. You go first.
The other guy, or the other boss battle you encounter in there, Big Red. What's his?
Oh, that guy's
name?
hard. The Orthon. What's his name?
Yeah. So he has that whole, he has that whole deal with Raphael.
And Yurgir, that's his name.
Yeah. He was cool. I was like, cool. Oh, this guy's cool. And he has a cool like panther pet or whatever, and then some other like minions. Mm-hmm. And I get into that fight, and I think at that point I had respec'd into Bard for just like some real nasty persuasion, like bonuses, and had like specced out with like some +1, +2 kind of like things here to be able to just really amp that up. I convinced him that each one of his, because he keeps hearing things, and I convinced him that no, his minions are trying to kill him, like, and so he would take out one by one his minions, and finally it's a very tough check, but you can convince him that no, actually his like beloved pet is actually like Raphael's here, like to like, and so he fucking shoots his own like pet and is like almost sobbing, and you kind of feel
Yeah.
bad for him. And then you can just be like, ooh, but if you're still hearing it,
It must be you.
that means it's got to be you,
Yeah.
dog. And he's like, he basically says, fuck you, before like
Yeah.
shoving a sword into his stomach. And I was just like, this game's great. This game's perfect.
It's so
No
good.
notes.
Yeah, warlocks can do that too. It's like I think only bards and warlocks can do that to him.
Oof.
Where you can be like, oh, well, I'm just a simple country warlock, but I think that you probably gotta kill yourself. And it's like, oh, well, okay, that seems pretty convincing.
Simple country warlock is too good. Fuck.
That's what a warlock
that was
sounds
really
like
cool.
to me for some reason.
Yeah. Later in Raphael's like side quest deal, he shows up again, and I'm able to talk him into being like, "Hey, sorry about that, but like we're home, we're chill right now, like we're chill with it." And he's like, I don't remember the exact like line of questioning that led him down to be like, "Yeah, actually, fuck Raphael. Like,
Yeah.
no, I'm down. We're homies."
Yeah, I did the same thing.
Yeah, it was great. It was so cool. Fuck.
Oh, I love the Raphael fight. That's so good. When we get to Act 3, we'll hit that harder.
Yeah.
It's so good. I love how Act 2 is packed with Ketherick Thorm's weird, shitty kids.
Yeah.
There's like the gold lady and the surgery guy and the big fat guy in the bar. It's everywhere you go in Act 2, you turn a corner and there's some real fucked up guy who's like, it's me, I'm Gorpus Thorm. And he's got, here's my thing. And then you're like, well, I guess I got to deal with this
Corpus
guy.
Thorm Jr.
Yeah, exactly. I got to deal with this guy for the next 35 minutes.
It does make it very satisfying when you kill him.
It does. Yeah. Oh, God. And J.K. Simmons as the voice actor for Ketherick Thorm.
So good. Like
Yeah.
I mean, again, voice acting across the board, great. Abby Thorne crushed it.
Mm-hmm.
Like too many like to mention, but yeah, it really made like the ending of Act 2 feel like they could have stopped the game here.
Oh,
and
yeah.
this would have been a like 10 out of 10 like game of the year contender.
I agree. Yeah.
Which makes it absolutely bananas that like there's a whole other act and it's bigger than the other two.
Yeah. And Ketherick Thorm is, I think, the bad guy from the previous Baldur's Gate.
That sounds
I think
right.
so. I think that he's
Maybe?
the bad guy
Or
from
one of
Baldur's
them?
Gate 2. I know Saravok, who was in the third act, is the bad guy from Baldur's Gate 1.
Right. Okay. That was it. Because I knew that there was like, and then there was the ball connection.
Yeah. I'm not
yeah,
sure
so
about
Rock is
that. I'm
stored
pretty
in the
sure
ball.
Ketherick is in one of those. Because Jaheira, the Harper lady, who joins
Right.
you in the assault, is from Baldur's Gate 2.
Who is great.
Yes,
Love her.
She is great.
She's cool. Mad respect to a mom who doesn't want to deal with her kids.
Yeah.
It's just very funny.
It's very good. Oh, it's so good. I really enjoyed that.
Let's see. Anything else from Act 2 stand out? I mean, it's one of those things where there are a million things.
Yeah,
so
I'm trying to
just
hit
hit the real beats.
Yeah, the real high notes. I'm doing the same thing. Where it's tough. I really like. I mentioned them as a group, but I really like Malice Thorm specifically, the guy who is like the Sharon surgeon, who is like the mechanical arms that have like too many joints that are like folded up at the side. You can't really tell that's what's going on when you first see him, and he's got all those like the nurses who are like they're blinded with veils, and they're all very clearly probably undead. And they're like operating on a guy who's not sick. That whole part, the whole vibe of that was very creepy and very cool.
Yeah, like each act has this distinct tone.
Yes.
That like that cohesively like works together like as a whole, but it really does like you kind of have this like the 3-act structure is very clearly delineated with the tone of each act's like kind of events and setting. Like the Underdark kind of like leading you into like the kind of Act 2 nadir in terms of how like physically dark shit is.
Yeah.
But also how like grim some of it gets, and then obviously stakes are massive in Act 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fucking good. They made it. Amber, I'm starting to think this is a good video.
I think it might be a good game. I think it might be.
Shit.
I have reason to believe it might be a good game. Did you let the like weird horny lady? Did you make Astarion feed on her, or are you good? I don't know if you didn't have in your party, you might not have gotten this. There's the lady who makes the potions at Moonrise Tower, and if Sarian is with you, she's like, "Ooh, you got a vampire guy here. You should make him bite me, and I'll give you a rare potion that permanently increases your strength by 2."
I missed her.
Yeah, she's in the back of Moonrise, and she's like,
"Oh shit!"
And Astarion is very like, "This lady is creeping me out. I'd rather not do that if it's all the same to you." And you can make him do it. And it like tanks your approval with him, and if you're dating him at that point, he breaks up with you if you do it.
Holy shit!
Yeah, it's like, but if you don't, it's like it's an easy way to jump to like the more serious parts of the relationship if you're already romancing him. Because I romanced Astarion in my first playthrough, which they don't make easy. He definitely is like, you got to do a lot of stuff that doesn't seem to have any good practical reason to do it to make him like you. You just like kind of gotta be annoying and mean to everybody all the time for no reason. He's like, "Oh, I love that. That's great to me."
Sounds about right.
Yeah, it's great though.
Man. Yeah, I think that's all I had for Act 2.
Yeah.
And then we get to Baldy Gate.
Baldur Gate, which the first time I got there, I kind of had trouble the first time because it's just so much all at once.
It's so big.
It's
so big.
It's like you're just in the city the whole time. It's like going to New York for the first time, and you don't have like anyone to guide you. You're just like, well, I guess I will wander around the boroughs until I know where I am.
Yeah, I will walk around forever and then realize, oh my god, this is just Manhattan.
Yeah, exactly. But a lot of like,
this is just the Lower West Side.
Yeah, exactly, and it's like. But a lot of the really ridiculous shit I really like is in Act 3. Like I love the like carnival.
Oh god, the carnival's great.
Yeah.
I didn't finish the clown quest line.
I had to look it up. It's really
line.
Some of them are just like
close
in like abandoned buildings that you have to smash the doors down on and stuff.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's
damn.
But I didn't. I finished that one just because I looked it up, but I definitely would not have finished it organically. But I did. Yeah. I do like that part a lot. I like the clown fight. I like the extremely rude genie who's cheating at the roulette wheel, and if you steal his ring that lets him do it, he sends you to like, what's the plane that there's a plane in D&D that has dinosaur or right, like a continent in the D&D world that has dinosaurs. And he teleports you there, and you have to like sneak your way out of it. Which is where is it? It'll come to me, but yeah, you get if you take the ring from him and then you use it to cheat back at him, he realizes what you did. And he teleports you to like a place full of dinosaurs that you have to sneak out of. Cholt, that's what it is. It's like you get sent to a jungle that you have to teleport your way out of.
Sorry, you're in Turok now?
Yeah, exactly. Well, no, you get teleported there like just one of your people does. So everybody else is like, wow, sure hope that they come back. I guess we'll hang out and see. I thought that was really cool. That was really fun.
Yeah, getting turned into a wheel of cheese was good.
Yes! I forgot you get turned into a wheel of cheese by him.
Yeah. Honestly, that battle was kind of fun, too, just because it's in the middle of a circus. And like, that's pretty sick.
I agree.
There were a number of like battles in the middle of the city that were like, a little harrowing.
Yeah.
Like, where it's just like, okay, I need to like take these guys out before like reinforcements arrive, and like in the one fireworks shop or whatever.
Ooh, yeah.
That one was rough.
Yeah.
There was definitely some save scumming going on there because I kept blowing everybody up.
Yeah. I saw that and I immediately was like, I saw like the open third story window. I was like, I gotta knock a guy out of it. And so I beat it normally the first time and I reloaded so I could knock a guy out the window. I was like, I gotta, it's like, if you're gonna show me
some Old West
if you're
music.
gonna show me a gun on the mantelpiece, I gotta make sure it goes off, like
Absolutely.
You're gonna show me a guy rigging a thing out of like a third or fourth story window. It's like, well, I gotta knock him off of it.
Chekhov's pratfall.
Exactly. Exactly. But as for Act 3, I think that my favorite part of Act 3, my favorite mission in Act 3, is the Raphael's House of Hope.
Oh my god.
There's
really
so
good.
many layers of that are so good.
Did you fuck Raphael?
I did. Oh yeah, I did. The
Okay, cool.
the
just to see what happens.
his incubus or
I
whatever.
had to.
Yeah.
Yeah, had to.
Yeah, I was like, okay, well, let's do it. It was my Dark Urge run, so I was like, this is what I would probably,
Yeah.
let's pick this. And so I did
Wait,
that.
if you're Dark Urge, did it game over you or?
I did the one, you can do it all the way and get game overed. I passed to the checks to where they like cut the deal with you that's like, I get to keep a copy of your form and you'll feel when it's fucking, but otherwise you get to go. And I was like, wow, you guys really, they really packed a lot of the developers' fetishes into just the House of Hope.
/ you know exactly what your players want.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
God, that's funny. Yeah, insanely cool zone. Getting ready, like getting all of my like party members like in place, and then just being like, "All right, trying to grab this fucking hammer." Like,
Yeah.
so fucking sick. Just like doing the no, don't mind me. I'm looking around this museum. I'm just this is interesting. This is what an interesting artifact over here. Is your shoelace untied? Like smash. Like,
Yeah.
that shit fucking rules.
It feels so good.
Like some really really tough battles like to like make it out to. And then actually Raphael wasn't super hard. Mostly because my big red boy showed up and like definitely helped a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was fucking sick. It was so good.
When I had to do that fight, the way that one went down for me last time, which I felt really good about, was so he like everything he does is like fire, and so I took my cleric and I upcasted create or destroy water to create a like circle of water that covered the entire room, and then I which inflicts wet on everyone, which makes them fire resistant. And then I froze it. And so they were slipping and sliding and falling everywhere. And I had set my team up so that they all had the boots. Like, there's like 4 pairs of boots total in the game that make it so you can't slip on ice. And I had all of them.
Nice.
So I would freeze the ground underneath me. And then I would just like walk over to them while they skidded around and beat them up. And that felt really good. If you play it again, I highly recommend doing like the ice sorcerer and like a create water on your cleric and just making people wet and then shooting them with ice, because it doubles the damage on ice attacks too.
That sounds extremely sick.
It's a lot of fun.
I'm Act 3 has so many like big, super fun like boss encounters that it's hard to like hard to really nail down like exactly the like there are a lot of highlights, let's put it that way.
Yeah.
But Shadowheart's like finale, like to her quest line, I thought was that boss actually was really tough.
That's like one of the hardest ones. Yeah.
It was really fucking hard. That one took a little saves coming, just because I would get some shitty rolls, and all of a sudden it was like, oh no, I'm surrounded and fucked. Great.
Yeah, everything. There's magical darkness everywhere, and I can't use any of my attacks.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a really good one. The ball fight was not as difficult, but was also very cool.
Yeah. That fight is different when you do it on Dark Urge.
Yeah, I'm super curious like how that ends up.
Yeah.
Like obviously you have options.
Yeah.
Let's say with that fight, like regardless. But yeah, like super super interesting. Like I really liked like taking down all of the. Who's the slimy mayor guy?
Gortash.
Gortash. Great fucking name for your like shitty politician.
Yeah.
Gortash. Like, come on. Really, really good.
Yeah. He's so great. The voice actor for him, Jason Isaacs is him. You might know him if you've ever seen Event Horizon.
Oh, yeah,
He's the where we're going, we don't need eyes to see guy who's like the bad guy in that.
Shit.
He's also Gortash, and he's so good at just being like a real creep.
Wait, Sam Neill doesn't say that line in Event Horizon?
Is it Sam Neill? Maybe I'm mixing him up with somebody else in it. I'm relaying what I was told. He's somebody. Am I mixing him up with somebody else?
It is Jason Isaacs. But I mean, yeah.
I might be mixing him up with somebody else. I'm relaying what somebody said to me.
Oh no! I'm only just I'm just thinking of fucking. I watched Event Horizon again for the first time like relatively recently.
Yeah.
And because I loved that movie as a kid. Oh no, he was in that movie.
Oh, he's DJ. That's I had the wrong character.
Yeah,
but yeah, it's the guy who plays DJ in Event Horizon. I thought he was great.
Oh
as
no! You're right. Or he gets his eyes gouged out.
Yeah. There we go.
That movie, God, I wish it were better. I loved that movie as a kid. It definitely has some great moments, some great imagery, and like Sam Neill and Lawrence Fishburne are both just like devouring the scenery in a great way. I just wish the movie were. I remember it being really scary when I was a kid, and then I watched it as an adult. I was like, oh yeah, this is not particularly. It's just
scary. Hellraiser in space, but that's fine.
Yeah, sexless Hellraiser in space.
Yeah.
Act 3 of Baldur's Gate 3.
Yeah.
Very good.
To pull ourselves back on topic. Did you do the Mystic Carrion mission?
Mystic Carrion.
It's the one where you're. Did you save the artist at the Zentarim base? This is like you have to do a bunch of stupid stuff to make this mission happen. It's like at the beginning of the game, there's a hidden base of traders by Joaquin's Rest, and there's an artist there who's like being kept as a slave, but you can buy him for like 600 gold and just set him free.
Definitely didn't do that.
Oh, and if you do that, he's like, oh, I have this patron who's a wealthy woman, and she'll reward you if you do this, and then you do it, and you go to her house in Baldur's Gate, and it's like full of poltergeists, and he is very clearly possessed. And it ends up as this extremely long mission where you like go there. She's like, oh, I guess you check out a study, and you go up to the study, and then you have to get through all this ghost shit to get up there, and then do the mission there, and you find a letter from a guy named Mystic Carrion, and you go there, and he's like a weird mummy who does spirit readings for rich people, and he's like, I'll do this for you if you find my ghoul who escaped, Thrumbo, which is not a name I made up. That's his actual name.
Sounds like a made-up name.
Yes, it does. It sounds like a name I'd make up. But no, he's like, I need you to go find Thrumbo. And I found Thrumbo.
That sounds like a guy who's revealed at a post-credit sequence in a Marvel movie.
Yeah, I would say it sounds like when you ask...
Real glub shitto type
It's like when your DM, you're like, okay, what's this guy's name? And he didn't come up with a name.
Yeah.
He's like, Thrumbo?
Thrumbo.
Yeah, exactly. And then Thrumbo is like, oh, you got to help me. This guy's a mummy lord. If you kill him, he'll come back. We have to find his heart. And you have to like find document in that guy's house that tells you where the heart is. And it's actually inside of Thrumbo, and he throws it up so that you can blow up his heart and it explodes into flames. It's like the only way to kill him. It's really cool. But it's like this very long, involved, sort of like intrigue heavy. Like I don't think you actually have to do any real fighting. I fought him because I was like, well, I want to fight the Mummy Lord. I want to see what that's like. Yeah. Which turns out real pain in the ass. Because he fights you in a real small room, and he spends the entire time just like coating the room in Cloud Kill, that like high level poison spell. Oof. Well, he's a mummy; he doesn't breathe, so it doesn't affect him. So he just fills the room up with it. Like it's brutal, but I really enjoyed just like felt very D&D. The weird roller coaster of, oh, you gotta do this. Actually, you gotta do this to do this to do. Like it was fun. It really hit the adventure fantasy nerve spot that I was looking hit by like that point in the game.
Nice.
Yeah. I really enjoyed that. So what did you do about Orpheus? At the end, when it's like you gotta either let him free or eat his brain.
I let him free.
Yeah.
And it just like, so like I did the whole thing of like, oh, this guy is the actual like rightful prince of, you know, or of the frog people.
Yeah.
And partially because Lizelle was like in my party and we were chill. Or as chill as we could be with her being, you know, insane.
Yeah, I understand.
Like it was kind of like, and I'd done the thing. Fuck, we forgot. I can't believe this was in Act 1. I had like gone into the artifact or whatever and like fuck it. Did I kill the god or like piss her off? I don't remember. She fucked off one way or another. I remember I fucked up one of the rolls, and and just got like squished like a bug.
When she cooks you all wish. Yeah, if you like do say the wrong stuff.
Yeah. Definitely had that happen, which was funny. But yeah, like and then like Lysel's, excommunicated basically, and is like having her whole like crisis of community, I guess, as much as faith. Yeah, so it was kind of like okay, hey, sorry about your god or whatever. But what if we go save this prince guy? We haven't even talked about like the big structural reveal of your like the blanking on names, but like the person in your head. Who's
your dream visitor. That's the emperor.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe this was just me. Just like the default like character model or whatever was just like really hot like dark elf or whatever.
Yeah.
And so I was just like the first chunk of the game. It's just like like okay yes no like she's really hot and has a great voice and like this is fine cool like I'll like go in there and like save her or whatever in the mind palace and things like that, and just a little confidant, and you get kind of close, and then all of a sudden, hey, what's up tentacles? And like that being such a great little just like, hey, how do you feel about it now? Like, how do you feel about that intimacy now?
I did sleep with the emperor. They let me do it, so I did do it.
Yeah.
Oh, come on.
They let me do it, so I did it. Yeah. Is the story of this game. That's hilarious.
Yeah, I was like,
I thought about it. I was kind of like, hey, no, we're chill, we're cool. It was a bit of a betrayal, just that you didn't tell me or whatever. But like, we're gonna work through it. It's okay.
I remember getting a message from Jess around the time we were playing it. It was like, did you sleep with the emperor? And I was like, yes. Did you? And they're like, well, I want to, but we're not like using me and she's playing with Josh, her husband, and it was like, we're not using the mind flayer powers. Like, oh yeah, couldn't be me. I started sucking down those tadpoles as soon as I could. And so when he was like, you want to become a half monster and also sleep with me? I was like, yeah, okay. All right, Astarian's gonna get real evil, so I got to do this.
Up.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, did you ascend Astarian?
No, no. And it pissed him off so bad that he like fucked off.
Yeah, I believe it.
I let him get revenge. And like we killed, I think together, or like I can't remember exactly how it like worked out, but like killed the shitty like master of his. And then I like convinced him not to ascend, and he was like, "You fucking asshole! How dare you?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm sorry. You have enough of a heart that like fucking nah, dude.
Yeah,
like, don't do this." And he just pieces out. And you're just like, oh, okay, I get it. Like, I love that. And granted, it's Act 3 or whatever. So like, but he was a main party member, and I still had plenty of game left. And it was just like, no, you don't get to use him anymore.
Yeah.
And like, love that commitment. Love it. It made it hit harder.
Yeah. And like, there's parts like that can happen all over. Like one of my playthroughs when I went to free Aelin in the Sharon Gauntlet, I didn't bring Shadowheart. And as soon as you get out, she's like, what the fuck? And then she like leaves the party permanently.
Oh my god.
Yeah, because you just like went to the Dark Justiciar Gauntlet and just left her. She's like, fuck
That's
you.
hilarious.
What's wrong with you? I'm out of here.
That was my whole thing.
Yeah, it's like basically what she says.
Yeah.
She's like, what do I do now? I'm like, okay, yeah, sorry. But I did ascend Astariad, and it's very funny because he gets so evil like immediately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is he still in the party?
Yes, he's still in the party.
Oh, okay.
He gets actually quite a really strong like upgrades from it, which as you should, because you sacrifice 3,000 souls to do it for him.
No shit.
Yeah, which is like,
how does the rest of the party take it?
Most people are not super happy about it, frankly.
Yeah, turns out.
But luckily, I think I had Lizelle and Shadowheart, and both of them were pretty evil at this point. So they were like okay with it, but Will was not very happy, etc., etc. But it's very funny how as soon as you empower Astarion, he's like, "Oh, that was great. Anyway, I'm going to be very evil now." It's like the direct quote. I think he's like, I'm going to cast a blight across these lands like the world has never seen. It's like you're gonna like. He's like basically, I'm gonna be the bad guy next time. Like, it's great. Really great. He does the like that personality change, and he also very quickly, if you're dating him, becomes like a toxic Tumblr dom. He's like making you kneel on the ground in front of him when you want to kiss him and stuff.
You here now?
yeah. He's doing the gif, the guy gesturing and pointing down. Yeah, that becomes like his whole thing. Yeah, he starts calling you pet and stuff. It's like the tonal shift is so dramatic the moment you do it. It's really fun.
Okay, we're getting close to time, but I do want to know like. Before we like get to wrapping up, final thoughts. I think we might both recommend this game. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
How did your Shadowheart end up evil? I'm curious, like how that went down. Like, did you let her kill?
I encouraged her to kill. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's like so she has like depending on what you do, she has like a cosmetic change either way. If you don't, she doesn't kill Aelin. She goes blonde and becomes the Selenite.
Right.
And if you do, she like recuts her hair to look like the image of Shar. If you do, yeah, it's cool.
That's sick.
Yeah, it's really cool.
And then she just like leans into the dark side.
She like leans it. Yeah, if you do that, like if you have her kill her and you show up to the House of Loss or whatever, and you tell them all what she did, all of those there's like 20 guys in that room. They all side with you instead of the Mother Superior. And it becomes a very
they're
easy
just like,
fight.
wait, no, this is the actual like hardcore motherfucker who we want to back.
Exactly.
Oh, that's sick.
It's really cool.
Damn.
Yeah, I really like that. Also, before we wrap up, there's one last thing from Act 3 I really want to hit, which is we talk about the gay little song that Raphael sings when you fight him.
Oh my god!
It's the only fight in the game like this. It's like a musical song that plays like
so fucking good and like. I love thinking about it as diegetic, like fully
it is diegetic.
Audio.
If you silence him, it goes away.
What?
Yeah.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
That's perfect. That's perfect.
I couldn't believe it.
Fuck. God, that's funny. It's so good. And there are so many like good little touches in this game. But yeah, no, if anyone's going to have a gay little song that he sings. It needs to be Raphael.
It's perfect because he's so flamboyant and such a. This game really packs itself full of like fruity bisexual guys who are evil. Like
a lot of theater kids in this game.
Sure are. Yeah,
a lot of them.
They're like,
a lot of them.
We're like, we know what kind of people are going to be playing this game. We're going to give you not one but two of these characters. One of them's going to be in the party.
Yep. Did you steal Raphael's journals?
I read which ones?
I just pickpicketted him. When
oh
he
yeah,
first comes
all
to
the
you,
ones.
like to make you like to tell you about like, oh, I have the hammer. I have it. Mm-hmm. Just drop on by or whatever. Like you can just I had good enough like sleight of hand and stuff, and was able to just like go invisible and pick his pocket and read his journals. And it's not like super memorable, but it was just it was so good that they're just like, yeah, no, of course we're going to give you some fucking like great flavor text here from Raphael's point of view, where he's just the most arrogant prick, and it's perfect. Yeah, so good.
He's like one of my favorite performances in the game. Raphael, he's just so like he's such a
the first time he shows up like on your way into the Underdark, or at least that's where the first time he showed up for me, and you're just like, oh, who's this asshole? Like,
yeah, it's like, oh no, because I was already like using Astari at this point. I was like, wow, this guy's so annoying. I think I'm going to date him. And then Raphael shows up like, wow, there's two of this kind of guy. Wow, look at them queening out at each other. This is great. What a game.
An embarrassment of riches. Putting the gay in game.
It's so good. I really loved how like the very strong like what I can only describe as like horny theater kid representation that is Baldur's Gate 3. It's just like packed with characters who are that. Oh, it's so good. What a delight.
It's really good. It's really good. Yeah. final thoughts other than like I do feel like a lot of this podcast, apologies listeners, has been the Chris Farley show, like Paul McCartney interview. Do you remember when that one time that like but I'm sorry, there's just so much of that in this game that it like all I want to do right now, even though I have podcasts to edit, is I want to go boot up Baldur's Gate 3 and start a new game.
Yeah. I understand.
It's that good.
I understand. I'm actually was playing before we got onto this. I was cheesing. I'm doing the honor mode now, the like one where if you die, you're dead. Which is cool because it actually makes you engage with some of the mechanics you might not otherwise. Like you have to think about stuff like, oh, this fight's going really bad. I'm going to lose. I should have somebody run away so that they can revive everyone and like leave the fight. Yeah. And so sometimes you have to look at like how early do I need to exit the situation if it goes south? And that like it's cool. Like I've had a couple of fights that like I lost quote unquote, but I didn't die because like one person managed to get away and revive everybody. And it like
that's really interesting.
Yeah, like adds a whole new dynamic.
Yeah, and I'm sure like just encourages a different type of play.
Yeah.
Than the wildly fuck around and find out.
Yeah, yeah. Like I'm, Grim, the big golem that you at the Adamantine Forge.
Yeah.
Like the way I'm fighting him right now is that there's like the flight of stairs, and then you get onto the platform, you lower the platform. We're all on top of that flight of stairs, like 50 feet in the air above him. Because he can't get us there because I was too scared to fight him normally, and I've just been shooting him with arrows for like the last 50 turns. When I get off of this recording this, I'm gonna go shoot him with more arrows until he's dead. He's got about 70 life left from his 450. Like we recorded Skull Talkers earlier, or like I recorded Skull Talkers earlier today, and I got done around 5:30, and I've just been shooting him with arrows since then.
Great.
Yeah. But this has been great. Thank you so much for doing this, Seth. This has been a lot of fun.
Yeah. More Jawbones to come.
Absolutely.
We always have fun things to talk about. Always makes it for, what time are we going to start recording? Oh, I don't know. This time, asterisk 30 minutes after this time, because we have things to talk about.
Yeah, exactly.
It's nice talking to you. So.
And you. And thank you, everyone who listened. Thank you to all of our patrons. It's like super duper appreciated that your guys' support has been really awesome. It's just like, it's so gratifying to work on this project. It really just is.
Truly wonderful like audience. Couldn't ask for a better one.
Yeah.
If we can ask one more thing, it would just be to tell a friend.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, straight up, word of mouth is like still the most useful. Particularly when it's a bit of a heavy ask, like, hey, can you listen? You want to listen to almost 3 seasons or 2+ seasons of this actual play podcast? That it's a pretty big time investment.
Yeah,
but if you like the show, please do like tell other people who might like the show about the show, because social media isn't real anymore.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm not posting, therefore it's not real.
I do it for the show, but
and I'm so appreciative that I can go and like, okay, I can retweet this and repost this. Exactly. I don't have to like engage my brain with online in that way.
Yeah. All right. Let's set us free though. Thank you everybody for listening. This has been Jawbone. And we will see you guys again on your main podcast feed real soon. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.